how to make money in the music industry. Now, producer, mixing engineer, mastering engineer, mixing, mastering engineer, business owner. There's multiple ways. I hear this all the time. There's no money to be made in the music industry. Yeah, that's because all you're counting is the streaming royalties.
Yeah, which are low, to be fair.
Well, exactly. If your only revenue stream for your business, and that's what, even if you're a producer, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
If your only revenue stream is streaming royalties, you are not going to make money.
No, you need to work in McDonald's or something. You can't live on that unless you have such a massive world. Like
but even people who are selling ridiculous amounts of streams, they're not. You see their streaming royalties. Some of them have posted them online. And they're minuscule.
They're minuscule. I mean, considering $1 million, I'm talking about sales royalties here. I don't think I'm including publishing here. But if $1 million streams is only $4,000 in recording royalties, it's nothing. In the old days, back in the day, if you sold 1 million singles on CD or vinyl, you'll be a millionaire for life. That's it, multi-millionaire. And then you put that millions in the bank. And the interest rates back then were such that you could leave it in the bank and never worry again.
So what's the answer? This is what we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, is a lot of people, they just don't know. They're not business minded. They're not thinking about other things that they can be doing because they are a music producer, right? There's so many things. Like, I've had this conversation multiple times. I've sat down and consulted with people who are just like, I want to make money in the music industry. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways. Like, I had a guitarist I was doing consultancy with, and we sat down together, and he's like, I'm releasing my music, guitar music, and I'm getting some streams. It's not really. I want to turn this from a hobby into an actual job that I'm doing full time.
Yeah,
it's like, you're good at guitar. You're clearly very, very good at guitar. Have you tried tutoring? Do you want to teach people? I've never really thought. How have you never thought of that? If you're really good at guitar, you have a talent that you're good at.
Yeah.
And you can teach that talent. And if you're good at teaching that talent, you could open a kind of workshop where you have 20 people in, all paying, let's say, each one paid £50 for 2 hours. And you sat down with 20 people. It's not one-on-one, but it's 20 people.
Yeah.
And you're teaching them all. And it was going through all these different things. There were so many things that it was just like, oh, my God, I haven't even thought of that.
Do you know how old I was when I had my first guitar pupil? Because I used to teach guitar.
Go on.
6.
I
was 6 years old. My first guitar pupil's name was Matthew. I can't recall his
surname.
How old
was he?
8. He was 8. He went to the same primary school.
Was a 6-year-old teaching an 8-year-old.
Yeah. I got £20 a lesson, which was a lot back then.
Well, yeah.
We're talking 1978.
Blimey.
Okay? Because I remember I'm a bit weird like that. Bit on the spectrum. I remember really dates. I remember everything from back in the day. I can't remember what I did this morning.
Yeah.
But I got a photographic memory for things back in the day. And my first ever guitar lesson was Wednesday, the 28th of August, 1978. It was raining. And honestly, that's in fact. And I learned guitar, and I was immediately... Put it this way, I was grade 8 guitar before I was 7. At the age of 6, I was already taken away.
Phenomenal on guitar.
I was. Now I'm...
even if I watch it now. I mean, watching that video of you on, what was that programme?
I've done a few programmes, but was it Opportunity Knocks, maybe?
Opportunity Knocks.
Yeah. Back then, though, then I was 16, 17, but they say if you don't use it, you lose it, and I'm nothing what I was, but, okay, I was a child prodigy, for sure. But, even back then, at the tender age of 6, not only was I earning money teaching, I was doing guitar recitals, like 2-hour guitar recitals, classical, Again, I was probably only getting, I think I remember I got 20 quid for my first guitar recital, but I was 6. I was 6. And there are plenty of ways to make money.
Yeah.
Plenty that
So
you got.
what for you? What are ways that you're making good money as a producer?
Yeah.
In kind of music industry.
Okay, so there's several ways. Number one, I've been very fortunate enough to write a lot of hit songs, and I mean proper big hits. I don't mean number one in a chart that you've never ever heard of, because there's so many of those. I'm talking about proper UK top 10, even top 3 hits I've had. So I'm still living off royalties of all those hit records that I'll continue to have, even quite recently in Japan and Korea, quite a lot of hits. But even from back in the day, I'm still getting royalties. Don't get me wrong, the royalties I'm getting now are nothing compared. Yeah, of course, they're nothing to what they were. But that's a way,
and that's directly a result of streaming, though, as well. As the fact that the music's obviously as well kind of declined in the sense of it's not as popular as it was back then.
No, of course not. No.
But streaming royalties, because
now they're streaming. But back in the day, we're talking about CD,
CDs,
we're talking about sales. But and PRS as well. So PRS is Performing Rights Society. Anything that's performed, like on radio, for example. So I'm making money from royalties.
So just to go back onto PRS, this is one subject that I guarantee you there's a lot of producers watching, and I guarantee you they are not signed up to PRS.
Yeah, you have to. If you are, even if you have a modicum of success.
I'm signed up to PRS, and I don't even release music too much.
No, I get that. You should be. From what I remember, it's about £100.
Yeah.
For life, though. It's for life.
Yeah.
It could be the best £100 you've ever paid, because
you make that back.
In like no time.
Yeah.
So put it this way: every time something gets played on radio or TV, technically even performance.
Yeah.
So technically, whoever wrote Happy Birthday.
Oh God, yeah.
In theory, obviously, it doesn't happen like that. You don't sing Happy Birthday and then phone up the PRS to report it.
No.
But theoretically, like, you're paying every time you sing Happy Birthday to someone, whoever wrote that. Now, so to not sign up for PRS, even if you're making a little bit of success in that way, is ridiculous. The other thing is MCPS. Now, what that means is, if you're not signed up to a publisher, now let me explain what a publisher is. A publisher is different from a record company. A publisher collects money for songs that you have written.
Yeah.
I don't mean produced or performed, but that you have written. Like the PRS, they pay money on things that you have written that are performed. Now, if you don't have a publisher to collect your money, what you do, you go through the MCPS, who are a sister company of the PRS. Now, I believe MCPS is free to join, actually. I might be wrong about that. I'd have to double check. But either way, or maybe it's another £100 saying that, actually. I think it is.
Yeah.
But you want to join MCPS because, again, they're going to collect your money, okay, your publishing money. Another company, very important, PPL.
Yep.
Now, PPL is if you perform on a record. So your friend or your client that you consulted with, the guitarist, let's say he does session work, like in other words, playing on people's records, for example, and those records get on radio, even if it's small local radio stations, they have to pay any performers that are on the record via PPL. So, and even if you're a producer, you're producing, you're performing because you're playing keyboards, no doubt, or guitars or whatever. So those are the three companies.
And that would even apply to anyone who's programmed via MIDI.
Yes, absolutely.
So
because
you don't actually have to have physically played it.
No, I believe even vocal producers are entitled to PPL.
Why did Simon Cowell always play the triangle?
That's right. No, it was
tambourine.
No, I know who you're thinking of. The other guy
Simon Cowell.
From PPL. Maybe it was Simon as well.
Yeah, Simon Cowell.
But it was also the guy from.
He always hit a triangle. I'm
sure it wasn't him. I know it was.
You sure they did Simon Cowell?
No, it wasn't. They did Kylie. You know Kylie and all that, and Jason Donovan. Who were that company? Pete Waterman. It was Pete Waterman. He always played. He always played the triangle.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I feel like Simon Cowell does it as well.
Probably.
I think they're all at it.
He's not silly. Yeah. No. So business. Why not? But basically, because the fact is, when you play triangle on I should be so lucky. If there is a triangle in that, I don't know. you're going to make, well, I don't know about millions, but I don't know. You're going to make a lot of money.
On a song like that.
You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money. So again, right, so going back to how do I make money as a producer? So from PPL, MCPS and PRS, from royalties, streaming royalties. Also for what I do, which I think is very important, I charge up front for my productions. That is very, very important. And I'll tell you why.
I know a lot of people who don't even charge for their productions. And they collect on the royalties and they're like, once it releases.
It's insane. Do you know how many times I've had potential clients like contact me asking me to produce for them?
All speculatively,
and they're saying to me, I can't afford to pay you now, but once I'm a millionaire, which I guarantee I will be, I guarantee I'll be a millionaire, right? Then I'll pay you. I know your worth. That's what they say. I know you're worth 100 times more than zero. Well, hang on a minute. 100 times zero is zero, actually. But you're worth 100 times more than zero. I will pay you so much when I've made the money. And we can even split the money, right? And what did I say to you? I'm going to give you free promotion. I'm going to mention you on my Facebook and my Instagram. And I'm like, I don't care about that. You don't even have to pay me royalties. Right? I don't care about that. You just pay me up front now. Now, unfortunately, I've had, and when I say upfront, I actually mean upfront now.
Yeah.
Now, and the reason being, I've had a few instances, luckily not too many.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this a long time.
And it's not because of anything you've done. It's just that's the type of people that they are.
I've had various people, not loads, but like I say, a few people. I've done the work for them. Now, I know they've been extremely, very happy with my work. Not only because they've said it, but they've used it. They've released what I've done for them. So that's not the issue, luckily. But then suddenly they're like, oh no, I've got no money. I've gone bankrupt or this or that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a few people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not a company I'm not like McDonald's or I am me. I'm self-employed. I'm Danny Kirsch. And I've done all this hard work for them. So because of that, I've been bitten. That's it now. I'm charging up front for everyone.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. And I know you do too. And it's the only way.
I tell you, honestly, the only people that I've ever really let, no worries, pay after, are people who I know closely. And they're the people that knocked me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's their loss.
Yeah, it is their loss. Just shows you don't mix business with pleasure, with friends. Saying that, there are certain friends that I do business with, like you.
There's certain people that you can, and you know you can trust.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Our friend Joe Kiddington, the singer.
But then as well, I feel like I felt I could trust these people. I've known them a long time. I've known them a long time in the music industry. And I was surprised with that.
But there's a difference between knowing someone in the music industry
then knowing
and
them
their
personally.
true friends.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of my true closest, I would say my closest friends in life are in the music industry.
Oh, mine likewise. Yeah. I've got probably, I would say 75% of all my good friends are all in the music industry.
Exactly.
And I've met through music.
Yeah.
And then the other 25 are, people I've known either for years or I've met through my wife or something like that.
That's right. And listen, we do music, so we're like-minded. Now, those people who are, and I mean my closest friends, I can trust them, no problem.
Yeah.
And I'll do music with them speculatively.
Yeah.
Also, and we get success. We've done stuff together, and we sample packs and all sorts of things because we can trust each other. But unless they're genuinely your friend that you spend time with, socially,
outside of the music industry,
that's right. Outside of music, going out, dinners, whatever you like to do, is they're your friends. But people, I always say to people, you think this A&R guy who you speak to regularly
is your friend?
No, they just want to make money out of your songs.
Yeah, as soon as you're dropped.
Oh, cool. That's it.
Yeah.
Or even your producer. It's funny because a lot of people, they refer to me as my producer. Oh, I've heard them on the phone. I'm just with my producer now. Like, you're the only one I work for. Again, they're not really your friends. You get on with them. They can be, but they're not your truth. So you've got to be very careful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say that. You've got to be careful who you trust.
Yeah.
Even to the point, unfortunately, the world we live in, studios themselves, people rob you. Literally.
Oh yeah, I heard someone recently.
Yeah.
They had a guy they knew really, really well. They knew him well, and similar, a building, bottom of the garden. He had it at his house, and they were working in the studio together, writing songs together. He went up to the house to make them both a cup of tea. He'd come back and his studio was half empty, and he'd gone with it all. And it was like, what the?
I think I heard about that too.
Yeah,
I think that was actually
recently.
I heard about that. That was on some social media thing as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it was like, I was
that?
just like, that's crazy. So, but getting back to how to make money in the music industry now, I personally think that every producer, every mixing engineer, everybody who's in the music industry should at least try and have a website. Now, I think it's so important to have a website. And the reason I say this is because it gives you unlimited options of what you can sell and how you can sell. You can set up a t-shirt brand, drop shipping off your website. If you've got big enough fan base, people will just come into your website, they'll pick up a t-shirt, and then they'll buy it, right?
And if I'm right in thinking, I've never done this, you don't have to pay up front for the t-shirts, do you?
It's drop shipping. So the t-shirts order comes through on your website. You can get the order on your website. That then triggers a message to the supplier. The supplier then prints that t-shirt, sends it out directly from them. The t-shirt doesn't come to you. It's drop shipped. So it's just like, right, an order comes in. You just create the product. So you can create unlimited amounts of product in that regard. So you can have cups, water bottles, all sorts, t-shirts like this.
Do you do that? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because why hold stock? If I hold stock, the problem is if I hold stock, I've got to fork out for all the stock, for starters. I've then got to fork out for all the different sizes in all the different colours. Whereas I can doing it this way, I can make it much more affordable, because it's just like, I get the t-shirt for X amount and I want to make £5 on top of that. So it now costs this much kind of thing. So that way you can have all the sizes that are possible, all the different colours that are possible, so many different designs and that design can go on t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, water bottles, anything, coasters, whatever you want to put it on.
Amazing.
So drop shipping, that sort of having merchandise, and it might be like, no one's bought anything.
But you've lost nothing,
so what?
Right? Yeah.
So it don't matter.
No
one's bought nothing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then one day, 12 people have bought something this week. Brilliant. 60 quid in your pocket.
Yeah.
For doing nothing.
Yeah.
You've done nothing for it other than had a brand.
Yeah.
So that's one really good way. I say really good way. It's really good if you have a huge fan base that want to purchase stuff from you.
Yeah.
Other ways, if you have a website, you can create anything you want on that website, right? So you could create sample packs. You could do a course.
Yeah.
If you're good at DJing, the basics of DJing, how to do double drops and all this sort of stuff. If you know how to do something, someone else doesn't. If you've had to learn how to do something, then there's someone out there who doesn't know how to do it and wants to know how to do it.
And a lot of those people will turn to YouTube because it's free.
Yeah. They'll turn to YouTube.
Yeah.
But also as well is, you can use YouTube as a platform to promote the paid stuff.
Yeah.
So you could do like a if you were doing courses or something, a mini course on YouTube lasts 10 minutes. If you want to know more, there's a full course here.
Yeah.
People then come through to your website, but if you create the product and the product's there on the website, there's so much stuff you can sell. Like producers. If you're a producer and you're not offering a remix service, the fact that you can produce and you're not offering remixing, and then you're complaining that you aren't getting streaming royalties, like you can't make money out of music, well, it's because you're not offering anything.
No, that's right.
It's like, how many remixes have you done?
Yeah, me personally.
Yeah.
Thousands, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally. And that's on my website as well.
Yeah.
Of course, why would you not? Listen, with remixes, again, I've had so many people ask me, do this remix and I'll cut you in on the streams. No thanks.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just pay me up front and that's it, Don't get me wrong, the revenue for remixes has gone right down from back in the day. So back in the day, I never got that much at all because I wasn't so established back then.
Yeah.
But I've got producer friends, that were charging 30 grand for one remix.
But then it's the value that remix gives to the release.
Yeah.
Or how much, I'm going to outlay 30 grand for a remix. How much can I make back off of that?
That's right.
And back in the day, you'd make back 30 grand plus a lot more. Whereas now, a remix, it's like, how much am I actually going to make back off of the remix? Unless it's going places.
Exactly.
And
the main mix.
Like, say, for instance, you're saying about 1 million streams is getting you 4 grand. Well, what's that? Maybe 150,000 streams gets the £500 back.
That's right, yeah. Exactly. But it's worth doing as a remixer for sure, for the upfront fee.
Just even offering it. If you're a producer and you've got a sound, people will want, and you're popular in the sense of like, oh, this person, I'm going to this person because I want to get that guy's sound, like Skrillex, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
He'll charge thousands upon thousands for remixes when dubstep was massive, because it's like, oh, that's the sound.
Yeah.
He was technically the sound of dubstep.
Yeah.
So you had all these pop records, remix.
Yeah. Now, even if you get a grand, so what?
Yeah.
Takes you a couple of hours.
But that's a good amount of money to do a remix.
Yeah, of course it is.
Remixes aren't the hardest thing to do. You're not starting from scratch.
No, you're not tuning vocals. You're not doing anything like that.
No.
So remix is definitely when you say
even production services. Now, a lot of people will like ghost production.
I do loads of that.
Right. So a lot of people used to, I guess, turn their nose up at that. And I knew a lot of music producers that would look down on other producers who did ghost production. It's like, but this is what happens.
Yeah.
Like you can sit there and turn your nose up at work like that, but then you've got to go do your 9 to 5 while these guys are making music.
That's right. I've got a friend. Do I want to tell you his name? No, just in case.
Maybe not.
Just in case he doesn't want me to. No, I'm going to say a good thing about him.
Yeah.
But just in case he doesn't want me to. But he, back in the day, I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago. I've known him for a long time. He lived off doing ghost productions. That's all he did for quite a big
loads.
Yeah.
We did loads as a team back in the day. Yeah.
You and Nick?
There was a good team of us.
Yeah.
Doing lots and lots of ghost productions, because we never wanted to put our name to anything.
Oh, really?
Because we wanted to be seen as engineers.
Right.
So we didn't want to be producers.
Yeah.
But we could make a lot of money out of ghost productions.
Well, this guy was charging cash in hand, right? So he wasn't charging as much as you'd think. He was charging about 500 a track, just cash in hand. They'd give him, but he was so quick. He could do it in like an hour, maximum 2 hours. So even if it was 2 hours, it's 250 quid an hour. Yeah. Obviously, he's not paying tax on it, I suppose, if he's getting cash.
Yeah,
right?
Probably a good thing he didn't say his name.
So yeah, exactly. But exactly. But I don't think he's even doing it now. Actually, I don't know what he's doing now. But
tax man has still come.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, I don't do that. I know you don't do that, so I don't mind saying. But so he was doing like cash in hand, and the fact is, he was making 250 an hour at least, if not 500 an hour, and a lot of people were saying, why would you sell yourself short? Like, why would you sell your soul and do something like that? And the fact is, like, they're working in the office or whatever for like, what do people get an hour these days? 15, 20 quid an hour, depends what they do. Yeah, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah,
he's getting like 10 times the amount of them for something he loves doing.
Yeah.
So there's ghost productions for sure. There's
even vocal tuning. I know you hate vocal tuning.
I hate it, but it's good money.
Yeah,
it's good money.
Like I hate vocal tuning. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
boring. It's like podcast editing.
Yeah.
It's not fun to do a podcast editing job.
Yeah.
But it's really good money.
Yeah.
Because it's the one thing that I say about like podcast editing. It's one thing I don't have to do in the studio. It doesn't require critical listening or processing through analog gear. So I don't have to do that in the studio. So I sit at home on my laptop and I can do podcast editing for an evening, 2, 3, 4 hours worth of podcast editing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what else would I be doing in that time? I'd be editing some videos or something. Yeah, I don't watch TV too much. But
I never do.
But all these things, these are all things. If you are a producer and you can edit music, you can edit podcasts, and you can get paid £400 to edit a podcast.
That's right. Well, I charge $500 for tuning vocals. Yeah. And it's worth it. It's definitely worth it for the client. Yeah. Because that's actually cheap, $500.
Yeah.
But
the thing is a podcast editing, for instance, right, is you can get someone who is really good at editing, who's really good at music production, is generally really good at editing. So editing's easy to do. Whereas who would they pay otherwise? It's like someone who's not very good, who isn't good at editing, is just literally using a program and just going cutting things out and moving them about. Right. Whereas we're cutting things, fading things, blending them in, making sure that everything flows. Yeah. So we're better to do that sort of work. Yeah. So it's like like all these services circle around a website. Yeah. Like I've heard in the past, and I think it's the most stupid thing to say. I've heard people, they've said to me, is what do I need a website for? I just use my Facebook or Instagram. No. It's like, but what happens with Facebook and Instagram? Like everybody from Facebook's moved over to Instagram. Everybody from Instagram's now moved over to TikTok or whatever, So you're left on Facebook with, now where is everybody? Yeah, that's right. Kind of thing.
That's right.
It's like your website's there to stay, it only grows and grows and grows. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change platform. It doesn't matter what happens on all the other platforms. Yeah, you have your website. That's why it's so important. You can do whatever you want on there.
That's right. Another thing, jingles. I've done a lot of radio jingles, a lot. Yeah, made really good
voiceovers.
Voiceovers, absolutely. I've had a lot
of
people.
If you've got a microphone, in your studio, voiceover work. Yeah. Oh, but I haven't got the best voice. Get your mum to do it.
That's right. I've recorded a lot of voiceover artists in here, loads actually. Also, you could do it yourself. Guess what? You can, if you think your voice is too high, you can pitch it down and sound like a Radio 1 presenter, you know. So you can do all that, absolutely. Yeah.
This one guy who reminded me of this. He phoned me up one time. He phoned up the studio and he got on the phone and it was just like the most mesmerising voice. Started asking me about mixing, and he had dialogue that needed editing and stuff, and it was just like I turned around after about 5 minutes. I was like, "You belong on the radio, yeah. Like your voice is incredible." It was like, funny you might say that. I am on Radio 1 or radio, really? And all this is like, it was this, and I was just like, your voice is just made for radio. And it's like, oh, that's what he did. Yeah. And it was just so perfect. Oh yeah. So basically what he was a voiceover artist. Yeah. He does his voice. He's just incredible, unique voice that's just perfect.
Like the X Factor guy.
Yeah. Well, similar to him, but like he's a prime example of a great voiceover person who made an absolute killing off of that, because he done X Factor, got really well known, and then he's doing voiceovers for all sorts. And the thing with voiceover work is you can do voiceover work for TV adverts, for anything.
Oh, he does it all, that guy. Yeah. I've got you and I again, I won't mention him, but you and I got a mutual friend who knows him, and he's done a lot of, he's actually put out records with him as not the singer, but like the guy talking, narrating on the records. But that's another thing. Oh, talking of radio, I've done a lot of what you call music beds. Yeah. Now, what that is, so for example, you know, on a lot of radio stations, when they're not playing music, Radio 1's an example. I used to do a lot of stuff from Radio 1 where, let's say, the DJ or the presenter is talking quietly underneath. There's usually going to be music. It's not actually silent. Now, someone's got to write that music. Yep. Now, for example, I used to do for Radio 1 tons of music beds, and PRS alone would pay £20 a minute a minute. And I was getting hours and hours and hours every day, 7 days a week. That was probably my best money. Like that went on for a good couple of years actually with Radio 1.
Brilliant.
And I've done the same for like Virgin Radio, Absolute Radio, and like slightly less money on those stations.
And I bet you there's people watching this who are watching this going, oh my God.
Didn't think of that.
I've never even thought of any of this.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, this is just all of what we're mentioning is just, it's so obvious once it's pointed out to you.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, if I created a website and I put all these different services available, or I offered these services, how many people would actually come and work with me on these services? And you'd be surprised. And the thing with a website, this is the one thing with a website, it's not just local. This is worldwide. And you've got to understand, people from other sides of the world, especially us in the UK, they a lot of the time they want to work with people in the UK, especially on music. I've always found that us being a London-based mix and mastering company,
it helps.
It's like, London mix and mastering, and it's mastering capital of the world kind of thing. And it's all these sorts of services are worldwide services that you can offer to everyone, especially voiceover work. If you've got a UK accent, for instance, you could be highly regarded in, I don't know, China somewhere. Like, you could pick up loads of work doing that sort of stuff.
Another thing I do a lot is library music.
Library music, brilliant.
I know that you master loads of library music.
Literally, I'd say 10 tracks a day.
Amazing. For
library music going through our studios.
Now, and that will never dry up for you because library labels and companies are always
it's big. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the sense that, media is a major thing nowadays. So it's not just you're writing library music for films, for TV, for beds and all this sort of stuff. You're now YouTube videos, anything like that. People are actually licensing music for that purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Again, so many people that I'm not going to name, but another friend of mine, he does exclusively library music. So he does it for all just TV. It's all for TV. And he makes every year well over 200 grand a year just from library music. Just from library music. He works hard, but you know what? He could stop working now. He could retire now, and that wouldn't stop.
No,
because what happens is with library, it's continuous. It's passive income. It gets used over and over again, and you never know. Once you've done a library album, let's say you've done 10 tracks of library. Now, sometimes they pay you up front, just a little bit for each track, maybe £300-400 for each track. Yeah. Sometimes nothing, but it's worth it because it's like you're getting it out there from the library companies, and then who knows where it could end up.
Yeah.
Imagine like you've written something and it's ended up as the EastEnders theme. In fact, a friend of mine did that, Simon May. Imagine what he's made from that.
It's used continuously.
It's just continuously, and you're always getting money
the last 30 odd years.
Yeah, at least
more than that actually.
It would. I was at
think
school.
It's about 50-60 years.
Probably because when I was at secondary school, in fact, I went to school with the sister of Nick Berry. Remember Nick Berry, who played Wixie in EastEnders, and I was 11 when I was in her class. So yeah, it's even a long time. But so yeah, library music. I make money from that. I mean, obviously, there's performing, doing gigs. I mean, so a lot of singers, they'll make their money not necessarily from the records they put out. They'll make some, but where they really make their money is the performance. Like, I'll give you an example. One of my very good friends, Angie Brown, she did singer. Why Waste Your Time? Amazing singer, a lovely person as well. So she did, you're gonna be mine, I'm gonna get you, baby. Now, that song, like, she's, in terms of gigs, she is gigging doing that song at least 2-3 times a week. Yeah. And I'm not going to say what she charges, but I do know because she's told me, and it's amazing. And that's just from that one song. Loads of people that I know that do that. My friend Shenna, you know Shenna.
Yeah, I was going to say Shenna.
Yeah. So she did, like, for example, she did I Can't Wait for the Weekend to Begin. Again, so she gigs, like, doing all these gigs, like just doing that one song. It's called a PA when you do like the one song. and it's incredible. And like she makes great money from that. So there's performing, DJing. Did we cover that? DJing. I mean, Avicii.
The thing with DJing
Yeah.
is you don't even necessarily need to be a very good
No,
DJ
of
to
course
get
not.
DJ gigs anymore.
Not at all.
So
I've got a friend
if you're
who
a producer and
doesn't
you've
even
got-
DJ, but he makes money from DJing gigs. He just presses the button. It's like literally. And but the point is, like people like Avicii used to make like £1 million a gig, a million a gig. I think Tiesto probably. I think he makes $1 million a gig now.
I could imagine it.
Yeah. So for sure, and do you know what though? You've got obviously if you're a big name, you've got that. But I also know people that only they might make about £100 an hour, even 80 to £100 an hour, but they're doing 6 hours, let's say a night in a bar.
But that's good money.
It's great money.
£100 an hour.
Of course it is. It's brilliant money.
Great.
Exactly. And they're doing it like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And they don't have to have a day job. They can then do their production or whatever they want to do.
So then that's the other thing is it's paying those sorts of things. Like even if you don't enjoy it, it's 6 hours on a weekend doing the odd gigs that then allow you to do what you want to do, and then you're releasing your music, producing your music, releasing your music, making nothing off of the streaming royalties. We're not making peanuts off of that, but you're doing what you love as a byproduct of the fact that you can DJ and make some money.
Exactly. Then there's working for a label. There's A&R. That's still music industry, very much so.
There's sales as well.
There's
working
sales.
for a company that sell studio equipment.
Yeah,
working
for sure.
in the music industry. Working for a company building speakers, things like that.
Yeah,
There's so much things that you can make money from.
Yeah, you just got to think a little bit out the box, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just endless, really. It's just endless.
Sample packs.
Sample packs for sure. Yeah,
Creating
I know
sample
you do well
packs.
on that.
Yeah. We do really well doing that.
So what I would say to conclude, instead of like using your energy to continuously complain about how streaming is so bad and how record labels are ripping you off, instead of doing that, put your energy into what you can make money from.
Yeah.
And do that, and then you will make money. And if you really want to do it, and if that's your dream, and if that is your passion, and you want that to be your day job, and you want to make money from that, then you will. You just got to think what you want to do. Yeah, you got to work hard sometimes to do it. And let me tell you, it is worth every penny.
Yeah. I
It is
can
music.
second that.
Yeah, music's incredible. Great stuff.
Great way to finish.
Definitely. Speak soon. Thank you.